So not all of y'all are from Texas, but we do have a saying here about, rode hard and put away wet. So, but we're here, we're all professionals, we can do this. And it's customary if you are a speaker, an entertainer of some kind, that if you're not doing extraordinarily well, you get gonged off the stage. Right? We're going to reverse that this morning, and we're going to gong people onto the stage. So we're going to start the procedure this morning with the procedures. We're going to start the proceedings. We're going to proceed with the proceedings with a performance of gongishness.
And I have the starter gong.
And yeah. I'll be in the kitchen. Just let me know when the next speaker is coming up. So this is entirely improvisational. Have you ever gonged before?
I have never been gonged.
All right.
Yeah,
so
this is my first gong.
We're going to start. We're going to start this morning with a duet of gonging between.
To play.
You're not going to play?
No, what happened is I asked him last night, I said, first of all, when you practice at home, do you have neighbors? Not anymore. Yeah, not anymore, right. Right, but he lives on a ranch, so he's okay to do that. But I said, what does it feel like to be in the middle of the gongs? And he said, would you like to find out?
Oh, no, you never ask that at a seminar. Like, what does it feel like, or what if? So you'll know immediately.
I'm going to stand in the middle, and I'm going to face out. So if I levitate or something, you will all notice it. Or if I disappear, you will all notice it. And then you're going to play for a couple minutes.
But if you just levitate, if you disappear, we would all sorely miss you.
Yes.
Can I have your car?
Didn't take long, did it?
And now live for the first time, it's Harry, Joe, and the Gongs. Please give them a warm welcome. Mm-hmm.
Let me know when you're going to start. Wow. I'm vibrating.
Yes.
I'm vibrating. I'm going to vibrate downstairs. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. I love all of you. I love you all. I've got to, thank you. I got to meet everybody, hang with everybody, have dinners or lunches and so forth with virtually all of you. And you are all amazing, coming from all walks of life. How has this been for you so far? We're only halfway through, really. Yeah? Yeah? I know all of you were certified as a basic hooponopono practitioner. Do you feel like you've been getting more information that you did not know? This has all been valuable because there's still more speakers to come here. Dr. Mary is going to wow you here shortly. She's still coming up. And Michael is still, he's gone already? Well, if he wakes up after his nap, you'll fill in for him. Okay, we got it covered. So in advanced hooponopono, you understand that everything can be a cleaning tool. Everything. Because one of the principles I said yesterday is that everything is alive. Everything is alive. I know when I bought one guitar that was made by Linda Manzer up in Toronto, a very well-known guitar maker, and Matthew and I saw it. Matthew looked at it and said, that's a cleaning guitar. And there was something about it, and there still is. I own the guitar. I bought it and I have it. But we just both looked at it and sensed that it was a cleaning guitar. Why? How? How do you explain that? How do you rationalize that? I don't think there's any way. Much like when Dr. Hulen looked at my one business card and said, this is a cleaning tool. How? Why? He said divine told him. We say divine told us. So anything can be a cleansing tool for you. I have felt that the cover, when I first saw the cover for this book, I remember thinking to myself, oh, that's a cleansing tool. And I think I mentioned it inside the book. I say you can just look at this. And it's kind of an inspired piece of art. I mean, even with the flowing waters. But I don't want to rationalize it. I just feel like that's a cleaning tool. You can set this up and look at it. I have a couple copies of this. If some of you that you didn't have it, I'll give it to you. And I do have a couple copies of Zero Limits. Somebody had asked about that. And she pointed out, she brought this up to me, and she said, this one line that you have in the back of the book on page 235 is worth saying. And so I'm just going to repeat it because this explains why I am doing Ho'oponopono all the time. The 4 phrases, the 5th phrase, anything else I can think of that I consider to be a cleaning tool. When I do Ho'oponopono, it's like a street sweeper at night. It goes out in front of my moments and cleans them so that when I get there, there's no issue. Does that make sense? And I swear that's why I am doing it. It is the Ho'oponopono is the street sweeper of life. What you're doing now with I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I forgive myself now, or anything else that you do, is all designed to cleanse you in this moment, but cleanse you so the next moments have already been purified. Less obstacles. And it really is like the snow. Somebody is from Chicago, Todd is from Chicago, I think, and he was talking about the snow that's up there now, 3 inches or so. But while people are sleeping, the snow plows are cleaning the roads. And when you get there, you don't even think about it, but the road's clear. That's why you're doing Ho'oponopono, to clear the roads of your life. Is that cool or what? So when I wasn't preparing, And I had written down some things I wanted to tell you about. I listed down some of the different clearing techniques that I've been using. And I think as advanced practitioners of Ho'oponopono, you would want to know about these. And so the first one, of course, is the Ho'oponopono the way it's been taught to us, with the 4 phrases, now with the 5th phrase. And all of this is designed to get us to the whiteboard or to the white screen, if you'd like to have that. Because it's interesting, we have this white screen up here. I know we're going to have with Dr. Mary a PowerPoint. But everything in your life, one thing that you can be doing is imagining that you're watching a movie. And it's being projected on the screen of your life. Because when you watch the movie of your life, most of us get caught up in it. And we're now in the drama. And we now have our cast of characters, which are family, friends, coworkers, the boss, or whatever it happens to be, employees. And we forget we are the one projecting that movie. We're the script writer, we're the projectionist, and we're one of the characters. But the cool thing is, and this is why this is all about awakening, is that you can wake up and realize, oh yeah, this is part of a movie. And I'm creating it as I go. And then when you realize that as you keep cleaning, you're rewriting the movie. I think it was in the 3rd Zero Limits event where somebody was talking about life being this gigantic, going off forever in both directions painting of your life. The story is there. It's already painted. And Dr. Hulen was sitting on the side. He just stood up as if he was just suddenly hit by lightning, spoke these words that, and as you keep cleaning, you change the painting. You change the painting. So that's actually, see, this is the inspiration again. I glance at what I thought were my notes, and here I am talking about something that's not in my notes. So your whole life is a movie projection. Now, one night, Narissa was at an event of some sort. I didn't go to it. I stayed home, and I watched some old Twilight Zone episodes. Loved Twilight Zone. I got to meet Rod Serling, the guy who wrote half of those episodes, like 90 of them. He introduced them and so forth. I met him when I was like 16 or 17 years old. Changed my life. I became an author because of that moment. And I've written about it many times. But there was an episode that came on, and I started watching it, and there's this businessman, and he's talking to his secretary because he's getting his flight tickets, and he's going to be going with his wife on a little weekend vacation. And he's talking to her, he gets the tickets, all is going fine. He walks into his office, and he picks up the phone to call his wife, and suddenly he hears this big booming voice go, "Cut!" Time froze. For me, apparently for you, and for him. And then suddenly, the walls of his office separated. And he was on a movie set. And there was a cameraman and a director, people looking at the script, a couple of people, technicians, and he is speechless. He didn't know he was in a movie. He thought it was his life. And I remember thinking, oh my God, that's the greatest self-help technique of all time. Richard Matheson was the guy who wrote it, and he probably had no idea what he was doing. He was just making a great Twilight Zone episode. I mean, this is the kind of gripping thing they do on the Twilight Zone. And I don't even care where the movie went at that point, because I had my own Twilight Zone experience, and I thought, I'm telling everybody, whenever you are going through something in life, it's not going your way, and you're caught up in the drama, you're caught up in the movie, what you want to yell in your head is, "Cut!" A couple days after I had seen that Twilight Zone episode, I was having lunch with a friend, and she started complaining about her life, and I just said out loud, "Cut!" And she looked at me because she didn't see the movie. And she didn't know what I was talking about. And I said, look, I want you to tell me the story again, but do your lines differently. Get this? Tell the story again, but do your lines differently. And I did go on to explain to her about the Twilight Zone episode, and I said, we're all in this movie, and it's all a script. And if you don't like the script, you're the one writing it. Yell, "Cut," and say, let's redo this scene. And this time, when you talk to me, be happier. And you just treat it, and again, you tell this to yourself, I was experimenting by telling this to a friend. I don't necessarily recommend when you're having conversations with people to just yell cut and tell them to do it over. You're not reading your lines right. You're not playing your character right. But you can say that to yourself. This is powerful. Talking about wedging open the illusion of life to realize that you are that witness. That we did the meditation yesterday and I took you right to that place where you're the whiteboard, or you can be the screen if you like. You're the void. You're the essence right there. When you get caught up, you want to remember cut. It's a cleaning technique. You are just fracturing the moment open, and so you realize, oh, I can look at this differently. Do the scene over. And if you're the one doing the complaining, you can, or whatever you're doing in the moment that you don't care for, and it's not serving you, and it doesn't feel good, it's not happy or healthy, what you can do is tell yourself, let me try doing this scene over and playing it more upbeat. Let me be a cheerleader in this scene rather than a critic in this scene. You hear the options and the choices? Do you hear the magnificence of having the choice to create your own reality? That's one of the clearing techniques that I've learned to do, and I didn't even plan to tell you about that. God, I love it. Didn't know I'd be gonged to death or gonged to life, and didn't know that you would bring up the book and say, hey, you need to read this one paragraph, or you should read this one paragraph that I just did. Didn't know that I would look at this and go, oh, that's the screen of life. Didn't know that I would remember the Twilight Zone episode and go, cut. And didn't know that all of that would be happening and bringing you here. So another clearing technique that I use is EFT, emotional freedom techniques. How many know about the tapping method? Almost all of you. That is fantastic. So I do it all the time. I do it all the time because I think it's a physical way of removing blocks. And I will do it depending on what's going on. I remember I spoke in Peru to 20,000 people live. It was an outdoor stadium, and Kiss, the band, had played the week before. I mean, this is the kind of size of the stadium and everything. And I had a translator, I had a bodyguard, I had an entourage. There was a police escort to get me from the hotel to the stage. And I'm going, oh my God, 20,000 people live, and they're filming this, and this is going to be televised. And it's just me and one other speaker. It's Bob Proctor. We're taking turns here. And I was nervous. I was freaking nervous. Can't find the words to describe. And I didn't know about cut back then, because I could have yelled, cut, no, now be the powerful speaker. And I remember tapping. And I first learned tapping from the guy who created it, which was Roger Callahan. And when he created it, it was called thought field therapy. And that's when I learned. I learned it directly from him. I also interviewed him for one of my Hypnotic Gold interviews. For 9 years, I was interviewing great people, and he was one of them. He's since passed on. And I actually learned it because of the fear of public speaking. And I definitely needed it when I was going on Larry King. I did it that day. I was going on Larry King, folks. I was going on Larry King. That's not 20,000 people. That's millions of people. And all you know is there's a camera, and when the red light goes on, the world is watching. And there's no going back because it's live. Yes, I was nervous. And so I do tapping, and the way I do tapping is I will pick whatever the phrase is, and it's usually something like, even though I'm afraid of this moment, or I'm not sure what I'm going to say when I get on stage, that is my phrase. I've honed down to the best of my ability to what the fear is, or what the belief is that I want to remove. And then we'll just use that as an example. And when I do it, I'll say, even though, and I'm tapping down here on the bottom, the karate part, chopping part, I can't do it and describe it. This karate part, when you were going to break a brick, the part of your hand that would hit the brick,